Go to overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk/online therapy to get 20% off your first month of cognitive behavioural therapy, with weekly sessions online with a therapist, in addition to worksheets, a journal, meditation and yoga videos, and unlimited messaging. There's strong evidence that CBT can help people who hoard, and accessing therapy online can be affordable and accessible. Find out more and get your discount at overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk/online therapy.
Normally, being a little extra can be a bit much, but when it comes to healthcare, it pays to be extra. And United Healthcare makes it easy with Health Protector Guard fixed indemnity insurance plans. Underwritten by Golden Rule Insurance Company, they supplement your primary plan, helping you manage out-of-pocket costs without the usual requirements and restrictions like deductibles and enrollment periods. So when it comes to covering your medical bills, you can feel good about being a little extra. Visit uh1.com to find the Health Protector Guard plan for you.
Since 2013, Bombas has donated over 100 million socks, underwear, and T-shirts to those facing homelessness. If we counted those on air, this ad would last over 1,157 days. But if we counted the time it takes to make a donation possible, it would take just a few clicks. Because every time you make a purchase, Bombas donates an item to someone who needs it.
Go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/ACAST, code ACAST.
Hiring for your small business? If you're not looking for professionals on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. That's like looking for your car keys in a fish tank. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't even visit other leading job sites. So start looking in the right place. With LinkedIn, you can hire professionals like a professional. Post your free job on linkedin.com/spoken today.
Welcome to the Overcome Compulsive Hoarding with That Hoarder podcast. I am drowning in stuff and trying to find a way out. Listen as I explore the issues and delve deep as somebody profoundly affected by hoarding disorder. Find out more, including links to subscribe to the podcast, at overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk, and follow me on Twitter at That Hoarder and on Facebook at facebook.com/That Hoarder. So, de-hoarding is really difficult. I think that's obvious. I think people wouldn't be hoarders if it was easy. It's physically tiring. It's emotionally tiring. It's the number of decisions you have to make is exhausting, and it's tough. So what I want to talk about today is a couple of ideas that just can make it easier for yourself, especially if, like me, you overthink things and that trips you up. So there are many barriers in the way of de-hoarding, and eliminating those barriers can only help. I know for me, one of those things is if a task has too many steps, I just get kind of overwhelmed and think, oh, I can't possibly do all that, or how do I do that when I haven't done that? And I tie myself up in knots. Or if I go to do some tidying up and then I can't find rubbish bags, I freeze, I give up, I tell myself I'm useless, and I just quit. So making it easier for myself is vital for the continuing de-hoarding project. So I want to talk about an experience I had the other day that had been helped by some planning I did, partly deliberately, partly accidentally, that made it easier. This was that, that example I gave earlier, not being able to find rubbish bags. I no doubt have hundreds of rolls of rubbish bags in the house, but my house is full of clutter, and so if I can't find them, I can't find them. So I did admittedly overbuy rubbish bags. I bought rubbish bags knowing I had them, but also knowing that it wasn't the worst thing to overbuy because you do eventually use them. It's not like overbuying the same book or overbuying something that will go off. You know, when I do find them, they'll come into use. It's still not ideal. Overbuying is not ideal and I am not recommending it. However, the fact that I did overbuy them meant that what I did was I put a roll or two of rubbish bags in a series of strategic places. One in the bathroom, one at the top of the stairs, one at the bottom of the stairs. Numerous in my bedroom, numerous in my front room, that kind of thing. And that was actually in a bid to avoid the situation where I put them all in one place and then lose them all. I thought if I spread them out, then if I can't find one roll, I'll be able to find another roll somewhere else. So that was my thinking, but where it actually turned out to be useful wasn't quite in that situation. So I was sitting at the bottom of the stairs. I was waiting for some food to be delivered and sitting at the bottom of the stairs, and I had a podcast on, which I nearly always have, and was wondering what to do with myself. And I saw this roll of empty rubbish bags next to me. And before I knew it, I thought, well, they're here and I've got nothing else to do. I may as well put a few of these pieces of rubbish around me into these bags. And so for 5 or 10 minutes until my food arrived, I was just filling bags with rubbish ready to go out. And without all that awful overthinking, which bit of the house should I work on? What exactly should I be doing? In what order should I do it? Instead, I was there and it happened because the circumstances were right. I had nothing else to do. I had a podcast on to keep my mind occupied and I had rubbish bags there and rubbish there to put in the bags. And I thought, gosh, this is easy. I wonder if this is how people who aren't hoarders just go about cleaning and tidying. They just see something that needs doing and do it, which is like a totally different brain state to my own. And it worked. And it means if I'm in the bathroom waiting for the bath to fill up, I know I've got a roll or two of rubbish bags and I can pick up some of those toilet roll holders or empty shampoo bottles or whatever and put them in one of the bags that's already there. Whereas if the bags weren't there and I was waiting for the bath to fill up, I might be looking at the things that need to go in the rubbish. But the process of going and finding bags and coming back and what if the bath overflows while I'm gone and all of that would prevent me from taking action. So something as simple as secreting rolls of bags around the house is turning out to help me to take tiny bits of action that all add up to make a difference. If you're a listener of this podcast, you know that I am all about tiny bits of action that add up. And I remind myself whenever I'm overwhelmed and whenever I'm thinking this is pointless, what's the point of doing this tiny bit of clearing when there's so much clearing to do? I remind myself that small bits of action add up. It all counts. So it's worth thinking about ways similar to secreting bags around the house. It's worth thinking about ways that would make dehoarding easier for you. So for me, my phone, or maybe I've got like a Google speaker that can play music at me. So I'm either listening to a podcast or some music. Maybe if, when I'm waiting for something, if I've got 10 minutes to kill, that seems to be working for me. Other ways to make it easy might be developing a kind of routine. I keep planning that I should do a whole episode on creating routines because it's something I'm slightly obsessed with. I am obsessed with the idea of creating good routines, and I'm not brilliant at doing it.
If you're looking for plump lips that last, you need to know about Juvederm lip fillers. With Juvederm Volbella XC and Juvederm Ultra XC, your lip look, whether it's subtle or bold, can last up to 1 full year with optimal treatment and no additional maintenance. Find a licensed specialist and see if it's right for you at Juvederm.com today. That's JUVEDERM.com. Add fullness to lips and adults over 21 with Juvederm Volbella XC or Juvederm Ultra XC. Do not use if you have severe allergies or a history of severe allergic reactions, or if you're allergic to lidocaine or the proteins used in Juvederm. Tell your doctor if you have a history of scarring or taking medicines that decrease the body's immune response or that can prolong bleeding. Common side effects include injection site redness, swelling, pain, tenderness, firmness, lumps, bumps, bruising, discoloration, or itching. As with all fillers, there's a rare risk of unintentional injection into a blood vessel, which can cause vision abnormalities, blindness, stroke, temporary scabs, or scarring. For full, important safety information, visit Juvederm.com.
Think of all the sleep hacks you've ever heard. You could spend years trying them all, or you could instantly transform your sleep with Bowl and Branch. They make the softest, most breathable bedding you'll ever feel. And it's all 20% off. That's their best sale of the entire season. Millions of sleepers love their buttery soft sheets, airy blankets, cloud-like duvets, and so much more. And you can try all of them for 20% off with promo code BUTTERY20. So hurry to bowlandbranch.com today. That's BOLL and branch.com. See site for details.
But one little routine that I have created and seems to be successful so far is that every time I go into the bathroom, I pick up 5 things and either put them in their place or in the rubbish, or occasionally in a donate bag. But there's not much in the bathroom to donate. It's usually rubbish or just something in the wrong place. So I go into the bathroom and have a wee, and then I put an empty toilet roll wrapper in the bin. I put the shampoo that's fallen off the bath back onto the bath. I put the toilet cleaner in the little basket I have for cleaning products that I never use. That kind of thing. If something's out of place, I just put it where it's meant to be, whether that's the bin or somewhere else. And normally, if I said to myself, right, you must go and tidy the bathroom, I would be, guess what? Overwhelmed. But instead, if it's just every time I go in there and it's only 5 things, that's not an overwhelming prospect. And it makes it quite easy to make progress because obviously you go to the bathroom several times a day. So if I go to the bathroom 5 times in a day, that's 25 items that were out of place and are now in place every day. So incorporating habits into things you already do, like that are small and not overwhelming and can be quite easily achieved, is another way to make life easier. And again, having the rubbish bags already in place is part of making that easier. Now, what is easier for you may well be different to what's easier for me. For you, it may not be an issue of needing to have your supplies to hand. It may be something else that would make 5 minutes of clutter clearing feel like a natural process, whereas previously or normally it wouldn't. It may be about when your kids have gone to bed and you've got some time and space. It may be about doing things as you enter or leave your home. It could be any number of things. Perhaps you hate taking the rubbish out the night before the bin collection is due. And so there's a way to streamline that to make it an easier process for you that's more incorporated into your comings and goings throughout the week. But it's worth a try. In just 1 second, I'll give you my top tip of the week. In the meantime, please do subscribe to the podcast, review it, 5 stars would be amazing, and share it with your friends or anyone who might be interested or who might benefit from it. It all really helps. To find out more ways to support the website, the podcast, and my overall de-hoarding project, go to overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk/support. Now back to your top tip. So for my top tip this week. I am using a clip from a TikTok video. A user called Domestic Blisters has a theory or a way of taking care of her home that simplifies it and breaks it down into much more manageable chunks. Have a listen and see what you think. I will link to her full account in the show notes.
Hello, you sentient ball of stardust. You're probably here because you're neurodivergent and you hate cleaning. Well, me too. Come along and check my system out. In any room, there's only 5 things. Trash, dishes, laundry, things that have a place, and things that don't have a place. Come with me. I'll show you. I take all the trash first. Then I do the dishes into the sink. Then I put the laundry in a laundry basket. I put away the things that have a place and make a pile of the things that don't have a place. And I do this in every room and every space. Same categories. This allows me to not have decision paralysis over picking up every item and figuring out where it goes. For toys, I always just sweep them into a pile and then put them away so I don't have to keep moving around. This is how I can get my space livable, and this took me like 20 minutes to do the whole thing. And the reason I can do it that fast is because I've set up the space that way.
Okay, thank you for listening, and I will see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Overcome Compulsive Hoarding podcast. You can find more online at overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk. You can find me on Twitter at @thathoarder and on Facebook at Overcome Compulsive Hoarding with That Hoarder. To find out more about how you can support this podcast and the overall project, go to overcomecompulsivehoarding.co.uk/support and do subscribe to this podcast so you make sure you don't miss any future episodes. So something as simple as secreting